Because many things poured in which were not in your to-do list and you had to do it. That means even if your time is out of your control, even if your decisions to do things are out of your control, somebody is controlling your happenings of the day who wants you to do things that actually you don't want to do on that day. You strive for him, and this world's happenings will be a play of marble for you. It will flow naturally. Whatever you will do will fall right. We have been gifted by one of the most beautiful gifts that heaven can ever shower upon anybody, and that is this human body. You all study science, and we know that this human body is such a precious gift to us by God. If you live for 70 years upon this earth, your heart pumps more than 500 million liters of blood. Your kidney contains more than 1 lakh filters. If you put in one line all the blood carrying vessels of your body, an average height of 5 feet 3 inches and 65 to 70 kg weight, all the blood carrying vessels in one line, your arteries and veins, the total length of the line would be more than 60,000 miles. So this is a wonderful gift that God has gifted to us. We need to make the optimum use of it. You as students, when you are going through a learning process in life, you need to develop your intelligence, that is IQ. You need to develop your emotions, that is emotional quotient. You need to develop your spirituality as well, that is the spiritual quotient. It will be the combination of IQ, EQ and SQ that will make you not just a completely successful person upon this earth, but an absolutely satisfied and contented as well. So this learning process which you are passing through now, you need to learn what the brain needs, what the heart needs. That is IQ plus EQ plus SQ. Because it will be the combination of not just an able professional, an ace professional, but a great human being as well to be a complete existence upon this earth. Do you agree with me or not? You raise your hands if you say yes. All of you. You need to have a perfect combination of being an ace professional and a great human being. For that, you need to develop all these three. I will exemplify what is IQ. I will define what is IQ and respectively all three. You might perhaps have heard the name of Dr. Ben Carson, who is the head of the neuropediatric department at the Johns Hopkins University in the United States. He stood against Trump this time for presidential election as well. He performed a surgery in Singapore many years back. The story is popularly known as the Siamese twins story. Twins were born with their head stuck to each other. And if at all the operation performed to separate the two, one would die or both would die. Dr. Ben Carson and his team, they conducted this surgery, 22 hours non-stop surgery, and he separated the Siamese twins. Both lived, both are happy teenagers today. From that day, the world came to know that this man possesses extraordinary knowledge transformed into extraordinary skill that he could practically apply in his own field of surgery when it comes to neuropediatrics. That is unbelievable level of intelligence. So in whichever field you are, whichever courses that you pick up in future, go deep into that to the extent that when it comes to that, you should become the top priority choice of people. You have to develop going in depth, one good intelligence, one good skill that could make you stand out from the rest of the crowd. I'll give you one more example of what intelligent quotient or intelligence is. Well, when you are children sitting here, I'll talk something about sports as well. You might not have seen, even I have not seen, but I read in the newspapers and the magazine, the 2002 World Cup soccer final. It was between Brazil and Germany. The story of the football goes in that particular World Cup was the goalkeeper of the German side, Oliver Kahn, had not conceded a single goal during the entire tournament till the end of the semi-finals. He was like a German wall as it existed between the East and West Germany. And in the finals against them was Brazil. They had the dreaded 3 R's. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo. They were powerful attackers, not just attackers, predators. Once they get the ball in their foot, they could create magic. So it was a clash of the titans. Now see the intelligence level in their respective fields. To what level you can develop your IQ in the process of learning. Till the first half, the attempts of all these 3 were negated by Oliver Kahn. Now a moment arose. Oliver Kahn was guarding his goal, and from the extreme left, Ronaldinho got the ball, and he was running at top speed towards the goal. But there was the German defense there. So he passed the ball because he got the knowledge, the instinct that I would not be able to penetrate this wall. So he passed the ball at the center to Rivaldo. Utmost and highest level of IQ, what it can create. The German wall went towards the center, a wall of 4 players, 4 defenders. Rivaldo performed a dummy kick. What he did was he raised his leg as if he was kicking the ball. But he put his leg over the ball, turned his body around. So the entire German defense that turned around, because it's difficult to face a ball at this speed, right head on, face first. So they turned around, and Rivaldo did not touch the ball. It was a dummy kick. The ball straight away passed to Ronaldo. So the German defense did not have the time to go there, and Ronaldo shot from 60 meters to one of the greatest goals in football history. Everything that I explained, the whole story, happened in few seconds. The momentous decision of Ronaldinho from the left, the spark of intelligence of Rivaldo in the center, and the glorious perfection of Ronaldo from the extreme right created the first goal. They eventually won the match and the tournament by 2-0. But people who are known to football, they say and they describe that it was perhaps the best combination, well played in the history of football. So this is intelligence at the highest level, your IQ at the highest level. So your intelligent quotient is you think rationally, you speak effectively, and you deal very purposefully with the circumstances and situations. So develop your IQ. Today you are students. You have your subjects to study. Go deep into it to the extent that you perform well. Make a habit of performing the best wherever you are. And if you form that habit from this early childhood, you'll always stand a chance to perform well in whichever field you are, wherever you are, whatever you are in future. This is intelligent quotient. I exemplified it, I defined it. Now coming to emotional quotient. What is emotional quotient? Until the 1980s and 1990s, everybody in the management field, everybody in the technical field, they felt that only a good amount of knowledge, only a higher intelligence can perform well. But after the 90s, the scenario changed. They could experience practically in the industry, practically in all fields, that beyond intelligence, if somebody in the person of authority can understand his and people's emotions well, can take care of his and people's emotions well, can make the optimum and ideal use of his and people's emotions well, can perhaps be a better leader than just a person with technical and management know-how. So the rise of the emotional quotient in the decade of the 90s. Emotional quotient is, it's all about having empathy, where you are people-oriented. You give priority to people. You give less priority to your individual ambitions, but you take care of people's feelings, people's wishes more, and you have a knack how to use best people's emotions and feelings, optimum use of it for the growth of the organization and the growth of the individual. So after the 1990s, emotional quotient came into play. Those people with better EQs, they became better leaders, and ultimately by the turn of the millennium, they came to know that EQ are the people, they would have better leadership qualities than people with just IQ. I'll exemplify it. Dr. Bernie Siegel has written a very good book, Love, Peace and Healing. He's a very renowned, a very successful doctor in the United States. In this book, he has exemplified many stories where beyond medical science, by love, peace, meditation, prayers, healing has been faster, has been better. And he presented all these cases on primetime American TV. A lady in Los Angeles, California, she decided to do some social service. At the age of 80 plus, she felt, what can I do? She approached the nearby hospital, which was a cancer hospital. She asked the doctor that, can I get the photographs of patients who are suffering from 4th stage cancer? And the doctor asked why. She said, I want to pray for them. I can understand the emotions, the feelings of their kith and kin, who would be worried about them. Taking that into consideration, I want to express my heart out for them. She would take the pictures back home. She would pray with a wish that this patient gets cured, because the patient's kith and kin are so much worried about the person. And to everybody's surprise, and to all of your surprise today, that she cured during her lifetime more than 30 to 35 4th stage cancer patients without a single medicine. Just by effectively expressing herself, praying for them. So your emotional quotient is you understand people well. When you will in future get into work mode, get into management, there are basically 3 types of management. First is material management, which is the easiest. If somebody asks you to rearrange these chairs in some other way, you could rearrange it. You don't need to use much of your intelligence or brains in it. You have just been directed and you are supposed to do, and you do it. Easiest of all 3 is material management. A bit tougher than that is money management. Somebody gives you 500 crore rupees, it's difficult to manage what to do with it. And tougher than money management is the third M, man management. But the top class management gurus, you study them, Jim Collins, Stephen Covey, Anthony Robbins, everybody, they say a person who is good at man management can be much better and the best rather in material or money management. Because they say, take care of your people will take care of your work. This is where EQ comes into play. This is called emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is all about empathy. So I exemplified and defined emotional intelligence. Coming to spiritual quotient, spiritual intelligence. You might all have heard the name of Abraham Lincoln, who was the President of the United States, but perhaps the most famous President of the United States. Yes or no? Raise your hands. Okay. Abraham Lincoln, when he became the president after losing 16 elections and winning on the 17th one, he sat down to decide his cabinet. His personal aide was just beside him. He started listing the births, started listing the name of the ministers, in which he decided to give the post of the War of Secretary to a particular person. His secretary beside him said, "Sir, if you don't mind, can I interrupt?" He said, "Yes." "Sir, when you are giving this very important, critical post to this person, do you know that he denounces you as a clown in public? Do you know that he opposes your policies in public? Do you know that during meetings of the cabinet, is not in tune with your opinions?" Abraham Lincoln goes, "Yes, I know. I know it." "Sir, even then you are giving this important critical post to him, which is the second most important diplomat in the presidential hierarchy, that is the presidential democracy that is in the United States." Abraham Lincoln says, "Yes." "So why?" Abraham Lincoln goes, see, now understand well what is spiritual quotient. Abraham Lincoln goes, "My first question, is he right for the post?" His secretary says, "Yes." His IQ for the post is perfectly matched. Second question, is there any question of his integrity towards the nation? Abraham Lincoln's secretary says, "Sir, no question. Since last 30 years of public life, there has not been any controversy about his integrity towards the nation." Abraham Lincoln goes, "I need only these two qualities in a person to give this post. He possesses that, so I give him, irrespective of what he has an opinion about me or my policies." Imagine the level that a person can go when he becomes spiritual. Spiritual quotient is well defined as, you go beyond certain limitations of human mind. You go beyond certain preconditions of human mind. You go beyond certain described and prescribed habits of human behavior, which Abraham Lincoln went, crossed all three barriers. To create a situation by taking a decision or getting involved that could be very beneficial for the future generation to hold on to the values and virtues of great human living. You become a source of inspiration. So my little friends, the process of learning is much beyond your textbooks. I gave you a small trailer of it today. Am I right or wrong? I want a proper answer from the trustees, then from the students, then from the teaching staff. It's much beyond your textbooks. Textbooks is just information. You need to convert that information into knowledge and ultimately convert that knowledge into wisdom. Only they say 10% of the information is converted into knowledge. My good friend Rohit Sarup is here. We were classmates, studied in school together, and fortunately with God's grace, we are speakers together in the event. He would talk much upon this subject. I'm just giving a touch to it and a push to him. And 10% of the information that is converted into knowledge, they say only 0.1% of that knowledge is converted into wisdom. And that is where all the problems upon this earth. So this is spiritual quotient. Beyond IQ is EQ, beyond EQ is SQ. You need to enrich yourself by your information. You need to enrich yourself by your knowledge. And you need to enrich yourself definitely by your wisdom, which is the spiritual quotient. I defined all three. I exemplified all three. Let us touch it individually now. See, what is the basic concept in our mind? As students and sometimes as teaching staff as well. A child who scores good in classroom is intelligent. And a student who scores less. Why, Paresh, you are laughing? And perhaps a student who scores less is less intelligent. This is the normal definition that the trustees or the teaching staff or the students, classmates, they make. He's a 90% student, he is intelligent. He is 60% student, he is less intelligent. This is the common belief and the common attitude that we live with. But this is absolutely wrong. Intelligence is not just your report card. There are three kinds of intelligences. First is called abstract intelligence. You are good with mathematics, symbols. You become a good engineer. Second kind of intelligence is concrete intelligence. You are good with machines. You become engineer. Third kind of intelligence and the topmost kind of intelligence is social intelligence. You know how to deal with people, how to take care of people, how to make the optimum, best use positively of the people around you to grow you, yourself, the organization. Social intelligence, abstract intelligence, and concrete intelligence. Just jokingly, I would say that those who score 90% in standard 12th, they get admission into engineering colleges and they become engineers. They get admission into medical colleges. They go into medicine and become doctors. Those who score 15% less, 75%, they go into the commerce stream, set up a company and hire those 90% people, engineers and doctors. Those who score even 15% less, they are in the 60% range. They go into public life, define policies for the first two. And last, more jokingly, those who score even 15% less in the 45% range, they go in the underworld and control the first three. So if at all some students sitting here, if you don't get 90%, do strive for it, because this is the period of learning, this is the period of scoring in your schools. Try to be the best student, scoring 80 plus, 90 plus, 95 plus. That is your endeavor as a student. But if at all you don't fall in that range, don't get disheartened. One universe, 8 planets, 195 countries, 1864 islands, 7 seas, 7 billion population, not just 90% people they earn, okay? This is a huge thing, huge affair, the whole universe. So don't get disheartened. Know the field and the sphere of your interest. As there are amount of droplets of water in the sea, as there are amount of oxygen atoms in air, there are amount of opportunities in the field of your self-interest. To earn money, to gain reputation, to live a dignified life. So don't get disheartened. Try, but if you don't fall in that range, don't get disheartened. That I'm in the 60-70% range. Know in which field you are intelligent. Develop that field. And you will enjoy. Sachin Tendulkar, he failed his standard 10th exam. And today his chapter is in the standard 8th exam in the books of Maharashtra board. What I mean to say is, you can develop your intelligence in the field of your choice. There is money everywhere. There is respect everywhere. There is dignity everywhere. There is fine living everywhere, in whichever field you choose. Know your field of interest and develop your IQ in that field. You will score better. You will live a best life that you want to live.